We're cooking it up in here. Look at that. It is wonderful. Oh, this is so pretty. Ooh, looks scrumptious. Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know, it's holiday time, whether you're getting ready for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Hopefully you're gonna have some folks over, whether it's family or friends. And I love to share with you one of my favorite ways to entertain, the charcuterie board. So today we're gonna do it in 3 different forms. We're gonna start with the children's charcuterie board, which is perfect to keep those kids entertained or even to have a little children's party. Then we're gonna do a SeaCuterie board, which is all seafood. And then finally, we're gonna do one that will really speak to the holiday season. And in Vera's Corner today, since we're in the kitchen and we're talking about entertaining, I'm gonna share some ways to make your house smell amazing and also a great idea for a friend gift. So why don't we go ahead and get started on this children's board. I just love it. All right, so you start by going to the Party and Dollar Store and buying a very inexpensive charger. This one happens to be gold, it's plastic, but it's just perfect. And then you're gonna take your chalkboard paint, coat the entire top of it with chalkboard paint, and now we're going to create a map for the charcuterie. So this is a perfect thing to do for a birthday party, believe it or not. You know, I've taken my parchment paper and I've just made a design of everything that I'm going to put on this charcuterie board today. So we've got meat, we've got apples, carrots, all kinds of things. So I'm gonna keep my map to one side, but I took my chalk and just made my diagram so that I can know exactly where things are gonna go. So let's start with my 2 dips. We're going to have ranch, that's gonna be over here. We're gonna have peanut butter and honey, that'll be right here. So I've got that together. So let's start with the meat. That's the big pie wedge. And you know, all kids love ham and turkey. So you just buy the deli ham, I've sliced it in half, and then I just rolled it up. So you're gonna create a way for this to mound up on the board. And you're gonna stay right inside the lines. Color in the lines, just like we taught those kids. All right, and then we'll do some turkey in front of that. All right, so around the ranch, we're gonna do carrots. So, you know, I guess the verdict is out on whether you cut these or whether you leave them whole. But from my understanding, because they did not have these when my children were little, they love to eat them just like this. So we're going to just create an environment around that ranch. Okay, so on the peanut butter, you want it to be pliable to be able to dip your apples in it. So just do a nice mixture with the peanut butter and honey. Makes it just really smooth and easy to work with. But these apples, y'all, these things are amazing. These are Cosmic Crisp apples. And they have been cut now for quite a while, and look at them. They haven't turned brown at all. So that's what they're actually noted for, but the flavor is fantastic. The kids are gonna love them. It's a nice firm apple and it maintains its color. So just keep that in mind and be looking for those in your grocery store. All right, so then the next thing we're gonna do is some series of grapes. So I've got red and green. So let's put the green over here. And then we'll put the red. Actually, I'm gonna switch that up. Since I've got a red apple, I'm gonna put the green there and put the red grapes over here. Now the cheese. You can buy the cheese already cut up like this for kids, which to me would be just completely perfect. So I'm gonna do a little circle of the cheese. And just imagine, you know, when you keep those children busy, it's like you can hear a pin drop. And I know that from having been a home economics teacher in high school and also from having 18 years worth of having children into the cottage for cooking classes. So now we're going to put some cucumbers around it, and I know you're thinking, Vera, how did you get those cucumbers to look so cute? Well, I'd love for you to think that I worked really hard on it, but there's this awesome instrument that you can purchase at any store that carries kitchen products, and you just really sit the cucumber down and just cut it. And we teach the kids how to do this at our camps. You can also do it with potatoes for French fries. So you're really making like a flour around the cheese with this. Okay, so we've got to get some bread in there somehow. All right, so we've got Ritz crackers that we're going to put over here around the meat. And see, now you're getting kind of a three-dimensional look to it. And all of these things make it go together. And then these pretzel sticks will be awesome on this side with the carrot sticks. All right, so something like this, you're wondering how many would this feed? You know, you can feed 10 or 12 children with something like this. It can be done salty, it can be done savory. If you don't want to do a lot of the strawberries, you can just cut those in half, let those be kind of a pop of color, a little bit of garnish. All right, so we are going to finish this in the break, and then when we come back, we're going to get started on a SeaCuterie board, which is all seafood. Got some really special tips for you there too. So I'll keep working, and you come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, we're doing entertaining today the easy way with charcuterie boards. And we just finished with the one for children. It is so much fun. It's a great idea for a birthday party. But now we're moving on to an adult board. We're calling it a SeaCuterie board, S-E-A. And for me, and loving the low country the way that I do, this is just a party in and of itself. I absolutely love it. So there's many things about charcuterie that I wanted to point out to you. People ask all the time, how do you know how much to prepare? How much of each thing should you do? You know, my main part about this that I think is so important is that visually you are going to have a lot of time spent on just looking at this. You know, it's like art. There's so much in the creation of it that it almost lends itself to a conversation before people even start eating it. But on something like this, I could easily serve 20 to 25 people with a board like this. And once you've done all of this work, you can back away and enjoy your guest. And to me, that is a key part of entertaining properly and successfully. All right, so we've got a beautiful board that we're working from. Everything's already cut up, so it's just like when we are making a cake and I tell you to get your ingredients measured in advance. Go ahead and cut everything up so you can begin the building process. So we have a few things that have already been done that are on the table now ready to go. So, you know, when I do seafood, I love to use my Tony Chachere's, and they have so many wonderful new products. They've recently come out with a marinade that I marinated this shrimp that's closest to you right there that we did overnight, then we just sauteed it in the pan. The flavor is fantastic, and you didn't have to do a thing. So that is really good. And then their regular Creole seasoning, which I use all the time when I'm just sauteing shrimp in my cast iron skillet with a little bit of butter. That's really great. But then there's nothing like just plain old shrimp cocktail, and their shrimp boil or their seafood boil is just fantastic to use when you're doing that as well. All right, so the building process is just a matter of having this stuff laid out so that it's welcoming and inviting. So as you can see, I left the tails on the shrimp, so that's an easy grab, but I've also got my toothpicks really handy there. Over here, I've got an Oysters Rockefeller that would also be great. You could put out some little glass plates or just some little salad-sized plates so that somebody might take that just by itself is really great. Some little small cocktail forks. So I've got a little bit of leaf lettuce there. And you know, one of my favorite things to put on a charcuterie board, even just with cheese and meat, is the blood oranges. That's gonna really pop in the corner and looks really great next to the cocktail sauce. And you know, I love to hold on to things like oyster shells and clam shells, just to use as vessels when I'm doing this. All right, so I've also got smoked salmon. So that's gonna be real attractive, mounded up in front of all of this shrimp. And you know, what do you put with smoked salmon? So you've got your capers, your red onions that are diced. I've got some sour cream in a vessel, and then I've got fresh dill that's just gonna pop that right here in front of the shrimp. And so with that, maybe for the person that's gonna take a plate, how about a little bit of nori salad? Seaweed salad would be really wonderful. I've got some coarse grain mustard that's really will pop, has a wonderful flavor, a little bit of horseradish in that. But then I always love to put a twist on most anything that I do. So I pulled out a couple of my old recipes. I had a crab dip and a salmon dip. So on the crab, you just mix all of your ingredients together, get it good and cold, and then I mounded it onto my cutting board in the shape of a crab. And I've used my crab legs to go with that, and I'm just gonna transfer that with my spatula over here to the tray. You can put some leaf lettuce under it if you like. And then the same thing with the salmon dip. I shaped it like a fish head, put my olive for an eye. I've done my cucumbers as scales. So I'm gonna be building this as we go during the break, getting it together. And in Vera's Corner today, with all this seafood, we need to make the house smell good. So I'm gonna give you some tips on gifting and a way to make your house smell amazing. And then when we come back from the break, we're gonna get started on a beautiful holiday board. So I've got some work to do, come back with me. Vera's Corner is sponsored by TaxSlayer. It's your refund, go get it. Are you looking for a great hospitality gift, or do you just want the house to smell wonderful? Well, I've got the perfect idea for how to do just that. Let's start with a scent that smells just like fall. Take 1 orange, 2 cinnamon sticks, a half a tablespoon of cloves, and a half tablespoon of allspice. Add all of these ingredients into a mason jar and then add water. This warm cinnamon smell is perfect for the holidays. Next is a clean lime scent. Add 3 limes, 4 sprigs of thyme, a half a teaspoon of mint extract, and a teaspoon of vanilla paste. Add water to the jar. The mint extract is optional, but is really worth it. Lastly, for a citrus smell, use 2 lemons, 3 sprigs of fresh rosemary, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Add water to the jar. These quick and easy homemade gifts will make your home smell wonderful. They can be heated on a low simmer over the stove for hours. Or they can simmer in a slow cooker on low. They also can be kept in the freezer for up to 2 weeks to maintain freshness and smell. These scents make great gifts or can make your own home smell amazing for the holidays or any day. Welcome back, everybody, and it smells so good in here. I hope you'll use some of those tips to make great gifts and to just make your house smell amazing. All right, so last board we're doing is going to be holiday focused. And you know, the board doesn't necessarily have to be a board. It could be a copper tray, it could be an amazing basket that you might have that's flat with a little bit of a rim on it. But because what I'm putting on here will require a board, I've got a couple of smaller boards. This is where maybe you could just use a cutting board that you have in the kitchen that might not be as attractive to use as presentation, but you can cover it up with everything that you need for the board. All right, so what I did here was I went into the yard and picked a bunch of fresh rosemary. And remember, that was in one of the scents that was on Vera's Corner today. So this just makes a beautiful way to present around the edges. Not only that, the aroma, rosemary works really well with cheese and meat, but it also works really well with dessert. So this particular tray for holiday purposes is going to give you a little bit of an appetizer that's great with drinks, but then it also has some sweets that'll be wonderful at the end. All right, so I've got cheeses, meats, all kinds of things. So I want to start with the meat today because this trick is so cool. Our culinary director, Donna Nail, showed me how to do this, and we are just loving doing this. So this is a parfait glass, but you can just use a juice glass, or you could use a shot glass. It depends on the meat and what you're doing. But basically all you do is you take the meat and make sure that you've let it come to room temperature. This is kind of like my tip on a cake. Make sure the butter and all of that is at room temperature. But the meat is more pliable if you do it that way. So you just start stacking it halfway over the glass and then halfway over when you're actually doing it. I'm gonna put the meat and cheese on this end, but once you've got it done, then you just pull the glass off and you have a meat rose. Is that the cutest thing ever? So here again, this is something that the kids would enjoy doing too, but it makes a gorgeous display, and all of your friends will just think that you are the next chef amazing. Right? Okay, so that looks great. Pomegranate is wonderful this time of year. I'm gonna garnish with that. I'm kind of going with kind of a tangy tart with the cheese this time with these meats. So I've got a blue cheese and I've got a Stilton that has blueberries with it. So I'll put that over there. And then when I'm using that kind of cheese, instead of a regular cracker, I love to use ginger snaps. A little bit of sweetness in the ginger snap makes it great. All right, nuts are always wonderful with charcuterie, with meat and desserts. And these are Georgia peanuts, of course. You know, we were at the farm recently. And then the top of the tray is going to have the sweets. So I've got some great looking and tasting chocolate chip cookies that are dipped in chocolate. I'm gonna put a little bit of my Stripling's blackberry jam to go with that, with the ginger snaps. And then also my Stripling's roasted and salted pecans to go down here too. So I've got a little bit more to do to get this ready. When we come back from the break, we are going to have all of our boards displayed with some other tips for presentation. So come back with us. I'm going to be busy getting this finished. Well, I don't know about you, but I would come to a party and stay all night if all they had was everything I'm looking at right here. It is so appetizing. It's so colorful. Yes, we had some pre-preparation, but in the end, as I said, you can be the hostess with the mostest if you've created a tablescape like this that you're not constantly going back and replenishing. Honestly, if something goes missing on this tray, nobody's gonna even miss it. So let's quickly walk back through what we did today. We started with the children. We have an idea now for a birthday party. We have an idea for a rainy day to create an activity. You can make this very easily, keep them on hand, have the chalkboard, go ahead and paint several of those charger plates while you're at it. And I want to again point out the Cosmic Crisp Apple. This is a product of Washington State. It is flavorful and it stays the right color the entire time during the presentation. All right, the SeaCuterie. Is this the best looking thing ever? We had shrimp 3 ways, we had salmon, we had a salmon spread, we had a crab spread. just oysters, Rockefeller, so many different things, lots of other things to go with it, a delicious cocktail sauce, even the blood oranges, people love to eat those. So it created an opportunity for you to have everything imaginable. If you did a board like this for a party, I don't think anybody would leave and go out to dinner. It's just amazing. And the things that you need to replenish, you can have a little bit back in the back to add a few more cucumbers if needed, put a few more shrimp out if you want to. If you are inside this time of year, this will be completely fine the entire time. All right, and then finally, the holiday board with fresh rosemary. The aroma right now is so much just overwhelming to me. And as I said, it works well with sweets and with main dishes like the meats and the cheese. Hopefully the idea today from Donna with the meat flowers you'll be recreating. We'd love to see that on Instagram. And speaking of that, we love for you to follow us on all of our social media handles, because from time to time we have surprises there that you might not learn about on the show. So check us out for sure there. So I don't know whether you noticed, but we did a little update in the kitchen. It's so cozy in here. And with my love for the Low Country, I'm so excited with my urban garden prints. Loving the Low Country, being outdoors, so many things that have warmed this up and makes it feel like mine. So I hope you'll check them out as well. So as I always say on the VeryVera show, no matter what you do it in good taste. Your friends will love this. I hope you'll come back and join me next week. We're on the road to Columbia to Motor Supply. See you then. For more of my recipes, visit our website to order the cookbook.